Hey everyone. Yeah, I'm back after that long um, audio video of explaining why, in my opinion, MLPFIM is the success that it is, the pop culture success that it is. But I also thought I'd talk about something that originally was going to talk about there, but then I just went off and did that. And what that is, folks, is uh, I want to talk about something that I know some people would say, well, the creators probably really don't take suggestions very well, or, will not take suggestions for ideas or whatever. But I will say this, first of all, I believe they still got to do that melting gag. They got to do what's known as the lustful melt gag for one of the ponies, at least maybe Pinkie Pie or something like that, where they melt into a puddle. Where they melt into a puddle or something like that. They got to do that. I mean, obviously, if anybody would be a great choice with that, it's Pinkie Pie. I mean, the fact that she's almost like, I guess, from their standpoint, a living, breathing cartoon. You know. But anyway, getting back to what I was talking about. You know, they have come up, from what I understand, just by reading synopsis and and what have you, and hearing what other people have said through reviews and stuff on YouTube and elsewhere on DeviantArt and stuff. It seems they've come up with some great episodes and everything that have really gotten your attention, but of course they have come up, according to a lot of people, like as of the past 2 weeks. Again, I'm not, and like I said in the last video, I'm not going to give away any spoilers. They've come up with some mixed episodes that have gotten a mixed reaction, whether it's mostly negative, somewhat positive, whatever. And to me, I guess you could say, as a fan of respect, out of respect, appreciation, and nostalgia, as I've mentioned countless times, as basically a fan, I guess you could say, out of appreciation and respect, I think I should kind of give my ideas maybe as what of possible future episodes they could do should the series continue on, and it sounds like it's going to. So I know they got the rest of this season to work with, so that's pretty much in the books, that's in the can. And I know they're currently working maybe on certain on newer episodes for the 7th season. I know they're currently animating, writing, post-production, pre-production, overlooking script, planning, and overall overlooking the scripts, rehearsing, and all that, as we speak. So with that said, let's take a look at some ideas, if you will, that for episodes that they could do maybe in the future, maybe for the later part of the 7th season, and maybe the possible 8th, 9th. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get 10 seasons out of this, just to make it one of the longest running modern animated series, one of the longest running modern animated series of the 21st century. Let's face it. I think with the success that it is, that's what they're aiming for, is to try to at least get 10 seasons cranked out of it, so they could say they had one of the longest animated series in the 2010s, if not in the 21st century. Now, with that said, I have some ideas, and this is coming again from someone that doesn't watch the show that much, but is a fan out of appreciation and respect. And yes, like I said, I do have some episodes on DVD, mostly holiday related. I do watch clips and all that, get a kick out of them, out of those funny clips that people put up. And, yes, I do have, as you saw in my video, where I showed you the collection, I do have that collection, or you see on the pictures here on Facebook, what I have. So with that said, let's take a look at some possible episode ideas. Maybe for multi-parters, maybe for one-time deals or whatever. I think, if anything, I don't know if they already got this planned out for season 7, or they're going to plan it hopefully before the series is out. But I think either it's season 7 as a finale, or it's a premiere for season 8, or what have you. As I've said before, and I'll say it again, and I'm sure everybody said this. I mean, someone even commented about this on on one of the posts I put at one of the Facebook group pages, I think, honestly, because I've talked about this before, I think either for a season 7 finale or a season 8 premiere, if they're not already going to do it, they've been bringing in their interpretations of Lord Trek, I think what was his name, Lord Trek, if you will, the Smooths, what have you. They're bringing in with the movie, they're bringing in their interpretation of the Sea Ponies. So, in my opinion, I think what they need to do is bring in their interpretation, this generation's version of Megan. They need to bring Megan into the fold. And what you could do is showcase that there are other worlds outside of Equestria. You don't just have to have the Equestria human version, or the human version of Equestria. You don't just have to have that. But you have to have, kind of take a page out of several other stories where there are other dimensions out there. There are other realities. And I think, for someone like a Twilight, and maybe with the help of someone like a Starlight Glimmer, if she's still in the fold, or if she's still around, I think what you need to do is have them go into a human-like world. Not like what she saw with the Equestria, the human version of Equestria. No. I'm talking straight up human world. And meet up with the G4 incarnation of Megan. You gotta bring Megan into the fold. And the way you do this is you bring her in with either the finale for season 7 or you bring her in with the premiere of season 8. You got to do this. You got to do this, in my opinion, from someone that watched the original G1 in which Megan was a part of it. You got to do this to really show that you're basically show you're not only gonna basically show that you are not just historically bringing back other characters in newer incarnations, but you're also willing to go as far as to bring back basically the main human character of G1. And I think, to me, that is what needs to be done. You need to bring in the G1, you need to bring in this incarnation, the G4 incarnation, the Friendship is Magic incarnation of Megan into the fold. And basically, she could be the outlet for Twilight Sparkle to learn about, hey, there are other worlds out there, other dimensions. Well, it's just humans. It's not, it's not a human version of our world. It's just, it's another world where you can even throw in the fact that their show that, you can even throw in a reference to the show itself by basically having Megan be like, wait a minute, you're one of those, and because you could have Megan, this incarnation of Megan, be doubtful at the fact that someone like Twilight is real, because to her Twilight's just a fictional character from the Friendship is Magic show. You can have a reference to that. You can have them acknowledge that, yeah, in Megan's world, Twilight is a part of the Friendship is Magic, and it could be news to Twilight. Like, wait a minute. In your show, in your world, I'm part of a cartoon show, or I'm part of some kind of television show, or something like that. You could have that acknowledged, and it would work, because at least they would realize, hey, in one world, in Megan's world, we're a show. We're part of a television show, a cartoon, a movie. But here, we're part of reality. But for us, it's like reality. So I think by probably introducing that kind of an element into the show with with a G4 Friendship is Magic incarnation of Megan could really work. I really think it could. And if you want to, you can even throw in the fact that if Megan was to come into Ponyville, you can either keep her as her human self, or you can have it to when she crosses over, just like take a page out of Equestria Girls spinoff, she changes into a pony herself. So either way is optional, in my opinion. But I think kind of acknowledging that in the human world, our world, which Megan would represent, Friendship is Twilight is a character, a fictional character in the Friendship is Magic show. So that could work, in my opinion. Another thing I think, another idea for an episode, and it could be a standalone episode within the continuity. But I think what they should do is do an episode very super spy James Bond like. Hear me out. Hear me out. When I talk about James Bond super spy like, I think what they should do, in my opinion, is take a page from the Chip and Dale Rescue Ranger episode 00 Chipmunk. And what I mean is by this. We know that Spike likes comic books. Heck, that's where the Power Ponies came from, right? That's where the main six got sucked into a comic book world, from what I understand, and became the Power Ponies. Why not have Spike also be a fan of spy novels? You know what I'm saying? Something like be a fan of secret agents and undercover missions and stuff. But as I was mentioning, have the idea of this sort of be like the FIM remake of the Rescue Ranger episode 00 Chipmunk. Because in 00 Chipmunk, you had Dale wanting to be a super spy, and you had Gadget, who I guess basically was the only supporter, I guess you could say, of what he did, and felt sorry for the fact that nobody even, that basically felt sorry for the fact that he did all this hard work. He basically turned one of his tuxedos into a spy suit, showed this intelligence side that he didn't get no appreciation. I think, and that she was willing to basically say, you know what, he wants to be a spy, I'm going to help him become one. And then they played this little game where she became a femme fatale. You got to watch the episode. I think you find it here on YouTube. But anyway, long story short, I think they should do one with Spike in the role of Dale. Basically, he wants to be, but instead of watching TV, he's reading the books about spies and undercover agents, and he wants to be one. Feels like, hey, this could help us out more in protecting Equestria and Ponyville and da-da-da. And you don't have to, like, throw in the whole, you could throw in the whole, he makes a spy suit or something like that out of magic. Maybe he's got a little bit of magic he's learning because he's around Twilight. And he uses it somewhat to kind of help him make his own spy suit. And then maybe you could have Twilight or Rarity or whoever, not walk in on him and ask what he's doing, but kind of walk into the area, but kind of take a step back and then look and see what he's trying to do. And then kind of have a smile on their face, like, hey, he's willing to make this happen. He's kind of a smile on the face of almost appreciation and almost respect and love out of the fact that, here they could see Spike basically trying to make this reality of, hey, he wants to be a super spy or a dragon super spy. You could have someone like, let's say, either Rarity or Twilight kind of almost walk in on him, see what he's doing, kind of have a loving appreciation for what he's trying to make his dream a reality. And then you can have either one of them go to the others and say, hey, he wants to be a spy. Why don't we put a little game on for him? Why don't we play a little game? Why don't we kind of do a little make-believe for him, a little bit of a pretend game? And you could, again, just like with 00 Chipmunk, you could make that pretend game and turn it into reality. You can make it into a real spy caper. So that could work, because then you could depend on who do you want as the femme fatales. Like, who could be the femme fatale contacts. And of course you'd have to go with Rarity as one of them. But who would be the one that would be like giving him the whatever it is, whether it's the whatever it is, the blueprints or the microfilm or whatever you want to call it, or the information or the map to get more information, Here's what I think they could do with that. If they wanted to do their own take on the 00 Chipmunk storyline or episode from Rescue Rangers. here's what they could do. They could have, like I said, Twilight or Rarity or someone kind of notice what Spike's doing, have appreciation, be like, you know what? He wants to make this happen. Let's help him make it happen. Let's help him make his dream come true. And then come up with that little spy game that could turn into a real spy adventure. And here's how I think you can do it. You could have several femme fatale contacts, but I think the one that needs to give him the information, whether it's a microfilm, blueprints, a map, or directions to meet other contacts and talk to them, and get clues as to where he's got to go before, basically where he's got to go to basically in the end get a surprise from his friend saying, hey, we saw how much this meant to you, so we decided to put this together for you to help you live your dream. I think the pony that needs to be the one that gives him that in femme fatale wise has to be Rainbow Dash. I hate to say it. I mean, I'm not going to say much, but if you saw this past weekend's episode, and I'll put a spoiler warning just in case, if you saw this past weekend's episode, you'll kind of get an idea of why I think she should be the one that's the femme fatale that gives him whatever information, whether it's the contact information, the microfilm, blueprints, whatever, directions, whatever, what have you. She should be the one that does it. And then you should have it to where he's like, okay, my next contact's going to be this character or this person. And you can have a male character. Maybe have Soren or Big Mac be the male contact, be the other spy contact, the male contact. And then you can have him lead Spike to the next female femme fatale contact. And I think the next female femme fatale contact, if they wanted to do an episode like this, should be Applejack. You kind of getting the theme here? Get the ones that are less feminine to play the feminine roles. And then, of course, have the last feminine contact that he comes into contact with to get information be Rarity. So, but in the end, make this into a real spy adventure. Find a way that something turns it into a real spy adventure and just go from there. And then maybe at the end of it, have them explain that they wanted this to originally be a little game to show the appreciation to Spike as a friend, and the fact that they appreciate and the fact that they noticed that this meant a lot to him, and they wanted to make his dream come true. Now, again, that's just an idea for an episode if they wanted to do one. That's an idea of an episode I would do, and something I think they could do, and I think it would be fun. And I think any of you probably listening would agree that it would be fun for them to do that. Another one I think should be an episode about a new power, and this new power being fusion. Hear me out. We all see, not all of us, not myself or some others, but we've all heard, and for some of you that have seen episodes where, whether it's in the finales, the premieres, whatever, the ponies the main six in a sense gain a new power to defeat some kind of evil or threat. So my thought is, why not have them get an ultimate power that causes them to fuse into one alicorn-like pony that's about the same size as Celestia and Luna, but it's basically all the main six combined. And this should be introduced in maybe a 2-part finale. Like, this could be one of the secret powers of the elements of harmony, that together all 6 ponies get merged and fused in to one big alicorn pony, like I said, about the same size as Celestia and Luna, but has more power. And kind of probably give it some kind of background, like this is some kind of legendary fusion that only happens when a real big threat, real dark threat comes around. Now, this could happen in the movie. I don't think it will, but you never know. But it's something that I think for a 2-part finale, they should really look into. I really do. And from a toy perspective, it could work. when you think about it. I mean, it could work when you think about it, because basically Hasbro could come up with a toy like, okay, how do we get them all together into one big pony? Oh, this is how we do it. Just boom, 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 or something. You kind of get what I'm saying, right? But to me, they should really explore that for an idea for a two-part finale for a future season, whether it's season 7 or season 8 or whatever. I think that's what they should do. Again, it's just my opinion, but I think an idea as far as the episodes go, this would definitely work for them, in my opinion. Now, what other episode can we have? Well, I think one episode we should really work. I think one thing they should really do is work with the tropes. Some of the tropes, some of the very famous tropes out there. And I think two of them that get made popular in animation is, I mentioned the lustful melt gag and the melting gag, the lustful melt gag that I believe they need to do. I believe they need to do that. But I think you should do episodes, one-time episodes with certain members of the main six going invisible. Or a certain member of the main six going invisible. And I think the character that needs to go invisible, if they did an invisibility episode, that character has to be Rarity. No, well, not Rarity, but it has to be Applejack. Yeah, that's who it should be. Applejack, I think, could really benefit from doing invisibility, because then you could start seeing more of a mischievous side out of her. Like, she's hardworking and everything, but now she's got this ability. Maybe you give it a time limit of 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever. She's got this ability now to be invisible, and by being invisible, it brings out this side of her, this mischievous side. Like, you know what? I'm going to have some fun. It's like, you know what? I'm going to have some fun with this. And she can have some fun. They'll do some little mischievous things around, kind of fool Big Mac. I think, who's that? Her brother, I believe? Have him kind of mess with him a little bit and everything. And of course, have a lesson be learned out of it on Applejack's behalf, but at the end of the episode, but kind of let her have some fun with it. Kind of allow her to bring out this mischievous side, and then even have Twilight, when it's all said and done, along with the rest of the main six, say, hey, we never thought you had that side of you inside. We never thought you had this side of you. Or we never thought or something like, we never thought you had this mischievous side inside, in you. Or this mischief side in you. And you could have Applejack going like, well, I don't get a chance to do it sometimes because I'm always serious about it. I'm always working. I'm always trying to take jobs seriously. I mean, yeah, I have fun, but the thing is, I never get a chance to bring it out. It's always, I've always held it within, but when I became invisible, it's like it just came out. And also make that an acknowledgement, like maybe when they get cast with certain spells on them, that a certain side of them comes out that they keep locked away. So I think Applejack should be the one that gets the invisibility episode. And I know some of you are going to say, hey, I know some of you are going to say something about that Applejack impression. It wasn't the best, believe me. I'm not the voice actress that does it, or the voice actor or whatever. I just did basically my best country impression. Now, the other one, I think, because this has been seen in even the most popular of animations, you got to have a character get turned into goo. Here's what I mean. Just like with the invisibility episode, you need to have an episode where one of the main six, and I'm going with Rarity on this one, gets zapped with a spell that turns them into goo. Basically, they become like living, breathing goo. They could basically stretch themselves, liquefy down into a puddle, stretch themselves around, shapeshift into things, stuff like that. Kind of blend in with stuff. Give them that kind of power. And I think Rarity should have that for one episode. And again, just like with Applejack, let her have some fun with it. Maybe even let her use it to the advantage of her business. Like, let me, kind of have her like think, well, I need to come up with a design. Let me see what it looks like. And she can use that power to change herself into the dress she wants to make. And she could just, splash herself onto like a mannequin or a ponykin, I guess that's what they're called. I don't know. and kind of see how it fits. So how it would look like after she makes it. Have that happen. Maybe even have a moment between her and Spike. Right, where she kind of envelops him a little bit up to his head or something. I don't know. Have some fun with it, but like I said, also allow her to use the power that she would have to, kind of help a business out, like kind of shapeshift herself into into a brand of clothing or dress or whatever she wants to make, have herself splat onto a mannequin or a ponykin, whatever you call it, and see how it fits. I think that would work. And again, just like with Rarity, not Rarity, but with Applejack, have it be a time limit of maybe 24 hours, 48 hours, and just go from there. And again, have it, have her learn a lesson from it in the end. And again, you can even acknowledge, just like with the invisibility one, that it brought out a side in Rarity that she kind of hasn't brought out in a long time, since maybe she was a filly. Who knows? But anyway, overall, I think those are some of my ideas for episodes for MLP, for future episodes for MLP FIM. I know some of you are going to say those are never going to happen, and you're probably right. But you know what? I'd be surprised if they did, because I think, in a sense, they would be worth watching. I really do. I think they'd be really worth watching. And for one last idea, I mentioned in the last video how I said that the whole past 5 seasons, and even the current season and going on beyond and into the movie are basically building up to something big involving Twilight. I believe, and this is my idea, that if they ever announced if they ever announced a final season, which I know a lot of you will not look forward to, but if they ever announced a final season, I think what they should do is use 6 episodes, not 5, not 4, not 3, but 6 episodes, the final 6 episodes in that final season, whenever it gets announced, to start building to Twilight's ascension, to surpass Celestia, have Celestia, start getting ready to ascend to the next level of her goddessing, basically where she becomes like the overall queen or something. I mean, I know there's something to where she, I know they're going to come up with something to where she becomes something like a light or a spirit that surrounds all of Equestria or something like that. I don't know, but I feel that's where they're going to probably go with something like her when they decide it's time for Twilight to ascend and take her place. I think that's what they're building towards. And I think whenever the final season happens, they have to use not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 6 episodes to slowly start building towards that, to slowly start focusing more in on that, and basically have Twilight get ready to take that next step and kind of use these 6 episodes to kind of put a overall cap and finale on a lot of the plots and story arcs, or character story arcs and plots surrounding the rest of the main 6, and those that have been allies and friends with Starlight and everything, as they get ready to take that next step as well, as she gets ready to ascend to take Celestia's spot. And I think it should be 6 parts, not 4, not 3, not 5, not 2, but 6, because it'll give enough time to build up, center around. You're given enough time in those final 6 episodes of the final season, whenever it happens, to build to that moment. You can focus on that, focus on each character's getting ready to move on and getting ready to accept the fact that, when Twilight becomes, ascends, that things are going to change. And that could be a great finale. You could tie a lot of things up. You can probably get Spike you can probably have Spike, if you want to, finally achieve his dream of being not just a dragon, a real dragon in a sense, but maybe achieve it in the fact that maybe Spike becomes, as some people put it in fan art, maybe becomes a pony himself, a dragon-like pony. He looks like a dragon, but he's a pony. He's on all 4s. And maybe you could use that to allow him to achieve his dream of being with Rarity, or maybe even finally ship him with, Starlight, like some people are thinking is happening. So So, in my opinion, I think that's what they should do for a finale. Kind of use those 6 episodes, or at least 5 or 4 of those 6 episodes to start tying things up, putting a cap on a lot of things, and then use the last 2 episodes to focus on the ascension, on the ascending, and bringing everything full circle. So overall, those are my ideas, opinions, as someone that, as I've said, is a fan out of respect and appreciation and nostalgia, that doesn't really watch the show that much, but has a few episodes, the two first holiday related episodes on DVD, and watches the clips here and there. And yes, as a fan of Rarity, Rarity is my favorite. I'm not going to deny that, and it's because of her thing with Spike. But those are just what I think could happen. Let me know what you guys think. I do apologize about this going over a half hour, but let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. And I am out. And again, do you agree with some of the ideas I think they could do for episodes? Again, comment below. Let me know what you guys think. And what would you come up with for future episode ideas? Let us know in the comments.